Good morning to all the fellow growers, and a warm welcome to the Growing Garden channel. I am Pietro Isolan, and today we will be discussing 5 crucial concepts regarding the pruning of potted lemon trees. So, without any delay, let's dive straight into it. First and foremost, let's talk about the ideal time for pruning. This particular topic often sparks debates as different regions have varying opinions. Some experts suggest one method of pruning, while others recommend a different approach. However, there is one essential aspect that we must always keep in mind, which is to avoid pruning during the flowering or fruiting stages. As an example, currently, our lemons are about to bloom, so we will only make a few minor cuts along the edges. Typically, in warmer areas, pruning is done around March. However, in slightly cooler regions like Florence, we prefer to wait until the lemons are removed from the lemon house, which is usually after flowering in late May or even June. 2 other periods that we should refrain from pruning are during the hottest months of July and August, as well as the coldest months from December to February. That being said, it does vary depending on the region, as some places may experience temperatures as high as 15 degrees even in February, allowing for some limited pruning. To summarize, it is advisable to avoid pruning during the flowering and fruiting stages, as well as the hottest and coldest months. However, there might be some additional considerations based on the specific region. Moving on, let's now address the difference between pruning potted lemon trees and those in open fields. Generally, potted trees are pruned when they are taken out from the lemon houses or serves. In contrast, lemon trees in open fields are often pruned earlier, around the month of March. As you can see, the 2 potted trees here are currently under this canopy, providing them with some shelter. Just a moment ago, I removed the non-woven cover, indicating that it is now the perfect time to prune them, right before the flowering and just before they are taken out from under the canopy. Now let's proceed to our second concept, which is lowering branches. In general, for this purpose, it is recommended to use back cuts, with a few exceptions. To help you visualize this, let's take a look at the lemon tree behind me. Suppose we want to lower a specific branch. In order to focus the energy on a smaller sprig, we have to cut at this point. Alternatively, if we wish to reduce volume on top only slightly, we cut like this. We need to be precise in our cuts to achieve the desired results. Allow the sap to flow into this specific section. Just to add, I pruned these lemon trees last year. This is the procedure we followed in doing so. We made precision cuts. This text has a length of 2395 characters. I shall create a reformulation that has approximately 29.68 characters. The resulting text will diverge from the target length by no more than 10%. Yet I will strive to preserve the original meaning of the text and avoid adding or deleting significant information. To enhance the prospects of regrowth, I utilize back cuts. Regrettably, I am unable to provide an optimal visual representation, yet allow me to describe the technique. When an exuberant sprouting emerges in an unoccupied region like this, I can skillfully prune, stimulating the growth of 3 to 4 shoots that will precisely fill the vacant area. An analogy is illustrated here where trimming induced the development of side shoots, although with less vigor than before. Additionally, it is crucial to carry out regular, modest pruning annually, as I emphasize in my instructional videos analyzing various plant types. An evident demonstration of this approach is evident in this instance, as this year there was minimal pruning. Having prudently executed strategic cuts the previous year to maintain proper structure, only minimal trimming is necessary this year to properly shape the lemon tree. Let us review it once more. By employing these cuts last year, we successfully contained the height of both these plants and aimed to recreate the slightly diminished globe shape lower down. Hence, this year's objective is to perform selective trimming in these areas to eliminate the excess foliage that hinders the growth underneath. Little to no reduction will occur above since we've already achieved the desired globe shape. We should only encounter a few spots without ideal crossings and parallels, but we'll discuss that later. Therefore, limited controlled cuts are necessary each year. We will encourage the dense foliage in this section while scarcely intervening on this side. This approach will bring about the desired outcome. The lemon tree necessitates small-scale cuts, so caution is advised. I also want to mention the 4th point briefly. Pruning the lemon tree involves thinning, especially for those grown in pots. Since we are striving for a globe shape, thinning becomes even more crucial. But what does thinning comprise? It entails removing duplicate branches that serve the same purpose, eliminating branches that intersect, and if required, tending to suckers and eliminating dry branches. These interventions form the core of the pruning process, in which we eliminate any broken or withered twigs, as previously mentioned. Here we have several that were probably broken by the sheeting that was put on top. Our objective is to detect potential duplication, so allow me to explain how we go about accomplishing that. We locate instances where 2 branches engage in the same activity. Consequently, I will opt for one of those in such cases. It could be this one, and I'll go and remove the other one. When I say they do the same thing, it means they cover the same space. Now let's look for an intersection. I put on the gloves that have certain number 1 plugs. Here we have found an intersection. These are 2 little sprigs going to occupy the same space. These 2 lines intersect each other. In order to resolve the conflict, we can eliminate one of them. It is generally preferable to eliminate the line that loops back into the main design, like the one going upwards here. This requires a small adjustment. And we've already cleared space for that, which is also some nice little flowers that are coming up. During the thinning process, the suckers are usually removed. However, it is important to note that in these 2 lemons, there are very few suckers to begin with. Therefore, it seems unnecessary to remove them. However, there is some dryness present that still needs attention. Unfortunately, the sprig in this particular area has dried up, which was an area that needed to be filled in. We do have some material to remove, so let's proceed with that. On a positive note, there are replacements available to properly fill the gap right below. Therefore, we should make a back cut and remove the necessary material. And there we go. We are doing them nothing but good to remove. The dryness that leads to mold and sickness is a problem we must tackle. Additionally, we need to address the issue of removing suckers from plants, even in the summer months. It's best to remove them when they are green, regardless of the time of year. If we spot any suckers in July, it is advisable to remove them promptly rather than waiting until March when the tissues have hardened. Delaying the removal will result in a wound that takes longer to heal. Therefore, it is best to tackle the problem when the suckers are still green. This practice is essential in the art of green pruning. Now that we understand these concepts, let's focus on shaping one of these 2 lemons. I choose the one on the right. Despite the situation being somewhat manageable already, there are still some adjustments we can make. Our main objective is to give it a globe-like form. The entire world will need to begin from the foundation too. Therefore, these descending branches are acceptable. We also expect that more will emerge in a similar manner. This area here depicts our lack of fitness. I am currently located on the outskirts of this area, just barely touching it. However, there is very little that needs to be addressed. Therefore, I will proceed with a minor thinning on this side. Perhaps I can still perform a back cut to rectify the issue with the misaligned top. On the other side, there seems to be a slight issue with thickness, although it is not too worrisome. Consequently, I will remove a small portion, but nothing substantial. As a result, we will slightly backtrack to resolve the matter. Here are several branches doing the same thing. They have also lost their leaves, so let's go. In order to eliminate a small amount of dryness, we must keep in mind that this is not a method of cutting the foliage, so the overall shape will remain intact. We should not remove all of the water, just like in the case of cultivating plants in a vast form. We lightly thin this area here, otherwise no air gets through. We also remove something that is down here, some pseudo-fraudster, a few inexperienced individuals. That's it. Well, that's it. The lemon tree, we pruned it. It seems to me that we are walking pretty well. And I really hope that this info has been helpful to you, by the way. Do drop by and check out the Easy Pruning video course, because there is a little bit more in-depth lesson on the lemon there as well, and one on citrus in general. If you are left with questions as usual, ask them in the comments, and I will see you soon. Happy growing to all.